Hello, Sidiska. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't planning on streaming tonight, and I started playing around with some physics, and I thought, oh well, I can just as well stream this. So here we go. I don't know if it's going to be a super long stream. Hi there, evening. Yeah, it's like, what's the time? 10:30 in the evening in South Africa. Where are you from again? I can't remember what country you said. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I have no idea now. It's either Canada or India. Poland. Oh, okay. I'm completely wrong. Okay, wow. So I think that's kind of similar time zone to South Africa. We are now 22:30. So 10:30 in the evening. Ooh, what's going on here? My wrong screen. There we go. So yeah, let me just jump into Blender. I hope you had a nice Monday. Yes, I was just playing around here with some physics in Blender. Let me just make sure everything is right. I'm on the right screen. Blender is showing, sound is right. Cool. So I was just playing around with some physics tonight, and I thought, oh well, let me... Oh, sorry, Tia, you said you didn't have a nice Monday. Hope it wasn't too serious. So yeah, so basically I'm just playing around with this physics thing, and I thought, well, I'm gonna stream this, but I'm gonna start from scratch. So I'm gonna just reset this. We don't want to save. And then first of all, I'm going to create a plane. I don't know if you've worked with physics before, but it's quite fun. Quite fun. So I'm just going to add a rigid body to the floor and make it passive because we don't want it to just fall through. And then I'm going to create a cube and just move it up one. So it's sitting on top of the floor. And then I'm going to subdivide it a few times because I want to break it into small pieces. Like so. And then all you do is you go to Quick Effects and then Cell Fracture. I think you have to add this as a add-on. Yeah, you've got to add this as an add-on. So if you go to your preferences add-on, just search for Cell Fracture. And yeah, I'm not going to go through all these settings, but you can choose like how many pieces you want. So I'm going to say 100. And then recursion. So it's going to kind of crack it again or break it again. And you can increase the noise. Because if you don't increase the noise, it's just going to break it into like cubes. Yeah, so if you increase the noise to 1, then it's like random pieces or shapes. And then what I always do is I want all those pieces to go into its own collection. So I give the collection a name, just frac like that. And you can give it any name. And then we're going to go okay, and you'll see it's going to kind of build the mesh using that thing. So now you can take your cube, which is still kind of inside that box. You can... I've already did it a year ago. It's funny add-on. Yeah, it's quite interesting. You can do some really cool stuff with it. So if I move this original cube out of the way, now we have all these pieces. And now I can select one of them. Let me just save this. I kind of always forget to save it on the desktop, just untitled. Yeah, so let me just check here. Okay, so if you select one of these pieces, you can go into, I'm going to give it a rigid body as well. And then you can obviously go in here and you can change all these settings. But I think the only thing we want to change, yeah, this must be on convex hull. And I don't think, oh yeah, we can increase the friction to 1. Sensitivity, we're not going to use any of those ones now. And then if you want to copy that setting to all these other pieces, you're obviously not going to do it one by one. Cool. Then basically you're going to just select all of them. But I first want to set my floor so it's not selectable. So if you want to do that, go to your outliner and then just enable the selectable icon, and then just next to the plane or next to your floor, just deselect. Okay, so we go back to that one piece, this one. So we've set the settings, and then all we do is we select everything and then go to Object, Rigid Body, and then copy from active. So that's going to copy that setting. So I can now click on all of these and you'll see it's got the same settings here. So now if we press play, it's kind of doing its thing. That's pretty cool. So it's kind of breaking apart. I just want to see something quick. If we select our original cube and I go to Quick Effects, Cell Fracture, you can set the margin here, like this area, you can set the margin. And that's basically the space between these objects. So now I'm not sure. Let's set the music a bit louder. Yeah. Because I did this on 0, so it means there's no space between between these objects, which is probably cool, which is probably what we want. Oh, by the way, if anyone's watching on YouTube, you'll see a link down below to Twitch, as I won't be streaming to YouTube for, I don't know, maybe I'll do it for a few days, but yeah, just follow me here on Twitch, on the Twitch side. Anyway, so we did this with a 0 margin. Yeah, so I'm not going to do it again. And it's kind of working okay. I'm actually surprised. Like if you do this, it kind of just explodes because there's no space between these things, but it actually looks fine. Yeah, which is weird, but okay. What we can do next is let me just see what other settings we can obviously set the collision margin, and I think by default it's set to 0.04. So I'm going to bring this down to 0.02 maybe. And then we need to select all of the pieces, go to Object, Rigid Body, copy from active. Okay, so now it's exploding. Okay, so let's set this to 0.01. Select all the pieces, Object, Rigid Body, copy from active. Let's have a look. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, less. So maybe we can go 0.001. Select all the pieces. Object, rigid body. Whoops. Object, rigid body. Copy from active. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. That's looking pretty cool. Yes, I like that. Okay. So I wonder if we can go further. 0.0001. 0.0001. That's not a lot. Rigid body, copy from active. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so now there's like 0.0001 space between them, so that's very natural. Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that's perfect. Beautiful. Very cool. I'm so proud. By the way, anyone watching on YouTube, come over to the dark side. There's a link below in the description. Okie dokie. So next, what I want to do, I want to create a force and then then kind of move it around and see. Well, before that, I actually want to there's this other thing that's bothering me. So if you if you select, let me just think, there's a constraint that you can enable. Sorry, I'm just stretching across. There's a constraint that you can enable between these pieces, kind of to glue them together, and you can set the force threshold. So if it receives a force of a certain force, then it will kind of fall apart. So what I want to do, I want to create like this wind thing and kind of move it around and start breaking it manually. See if I can kind of control the where it breaks. But there's one problem, and that is I am not sure how to copy the constraints from one object to all of the others. So it's not the same as copying. Hey, Oscar. It's not the same as copying rigid body settings, which is different. But I can maybe Google it, Nana, and see. Okay, so la-di-da-di-da, da-di-da-di-da, da-di-da-di-da. All right, so let's have a look at the constraint. So here's the constraint, a rigid body constraint. So I wonder if I've tried this before. You can't select 2 and then enable it. It's only going to enable it for the last one. So you can't do that. So you can enable it here. And then if you scroll down, you'll see rigid body constraint, drop down. And then you'll see the type. You've got fixed, point, hinge, slider, piston, generic spring, motor. So I'm going to make it fixed because we just want to kind of glue it together. And then you can make it breakable. By default, I like this tune. By default, it will disable the collisions. And then also by default, it's not breakable. So, okay. But first of all, we need to figure out how to copy this constraint to all the others, because I've tried it many times. You can now select all of them and then go to Object, Rigid Body, Copy from Active. And then you'll see it's not active. But where's the one? That one that we enabled manually. That's working. This one not working. So I'm sure there is a way, but I've never tried. What is this thing? Sync with outliner. Okay. Yeah, you can't just. What is this? This is it's definitely under the physics properties, because I first thought it's under constraints, because here are all your constraints, but it's not one of these. So it falls under physics. Or, yeah, physics properties. So, I'm sure there must be a way. Let me Google quickly. Rigid body constraint. Okay. Rigid body constraint. Let me open up Safari quickly. Hopefully that's the right one. No, it's not. Let me just Safari. There we go. So let's go to Google. And I'm going to search for Blender. Rigid. How do you spell rigid? RIGID. Body constraint. Copy. Okay, so this is for version 2.73, but let's see, maybe it's similar. You can use copy from active to do this. First, select all your objects that will receive the blah 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 blah. Press T and switch to the physics tab. There you can press copy from active. What? Press T. Open the toolbar and press T. Let's switch to the physics tab. There you can press copy from active. I don't understand. Okay. So you select all the objects and this one last. And then you open this menu. Is this a toolbar? And then T. No, that's T. Sorry, let me just go back. Copy from active. Okay. So something here. I need to do something here. Right click. No. It must be this. Copy from active, but it doesn't work because that one's on, this one's not on. Sorry, this is probably very boring, but I'm trying to figure this out. So let's go back. Let's see if there's any other answers. Copying parameters from one. Here we go. And this is 2018. Such function doesn't seem to be available while dealing with constraints in general. You can copy properties from active to selected objects by right clicking on properties and selecting copy to selected. On properties, what? You can copy properties from active to selected objects by right clicking on properties and selecting copy to selected. On properties. What is properties? Okay, wait. So we select this one, then we select everything else. Properties. I honestly do not understand. Custom properties. No, it's not that. Click on properties. Right click. I have no idea. ID data. Make local. Okay. Sorry, I'm still on Safari here. But I don't understand this. Let me just see. Constraint break when copying is empty. Copy transform constraint. Here we go. 2020. Here we go. One year ago and no comments. Oh no. I've been using Blender for about 2 years. Scramble. Copy bone constraints. In Blender preferences, first find the interface. Copy attributes menu add-on. That sounds like the right thing to do. Copy attributes media and select copy bound constraints. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out how to copy the rigid body constraints. Okay, so a rigid body constraints break when copying its empty. Select all objects, Control C to copy. This is so confusing. I should have figured this out earlier. Okay, I think let's try something else. So we've got this animation going, it's falling apart, and yeah. So I'm going to create a force. So force field and then just a normal force, and I'm going to scale it down. Ooh, I just need to move it out first, and then we move it up. And I can only scale the insides because we need to set the settings somewhere. Okay, so here we go. We've got the force settings. Okay, let me just open something here quickly. I think I've got an idea. So let me just see something. Yeah, so if anyone's watching on YouTube, you'll see there's a link below. Click the link and come over to Twitch. I'll probably stop streaming to YouTube very soon. Okay, so what I want to do here, I've got this force, and currently if we play this thing kind of just falls apart slowly. And now on this force, we can set the strength and the flow and all of these different kind of settings, and we can choose what type of force this is basically. But I want to set the power or the minimum distance and the fall off basically. So minimum distance and maximum distance. Let me just see what happens here. So what are these lines then? Is that just the kind of the size or the strength? No, it's not the strength. I think if we go to this thing, yeah, it's kind of just how it's displayed. So that doesn't really matter. Okay. Now we know. That's good to know. So yeah, we can now set the minimum distance. Whoa. So the closest to the thing, we can probably just set this to 0. And then this is the maximum distance. So if we set this maybe to here, and maybe I should set all these things to, yeah, I've got a plan. So under your physics, you can actually set deactivation. You can enable this, and then you can say start deactivated. So it's going to require a force of that amount to activate it basically. And then I want to copy that to everything. So object, rigid body, copy from active. And now we should be good. Let me just see if this constraint, if we deleted this constraint. No, we didn't. Let me just delete that. Okay, so we've got our force. And now if we play this, nothing's going to happen because all of these pieces are now not active or deactivated. Okay, so I'm going to save this. All right, so let me just see. Okay, so I'm going to increase the strength of my force. So let's increase it to like 100. And then let's play again and see. Nothing happens. But if I move this thing closer, just slightly, and we'll play this, you see there. So it kind of started to deactivate those pieces. I think we need to increase the force needed to basically break it apart. So let me just see what it says. This is the threshold. Linear velocity below which simulations stop simulating object. Okay. I have no idea. Let's set this to 1. And I'm going to set this to 1. It's kind of doubling the amount, I think. So now I just want to select all of this again. Not this. Oh, shit. Let me just see. I don't know if this is going to work. Rigid body, copy from active. And these ones should all now be 1. Yeah, it kind of worked. I think it works a bit better. Okay. Let's make it 10. And this one 10 as well. Okay, I'm just going to select that thing as fine. Object, rigid body, copy from active, and let's play that. Okay. Then let's make it 100. I don't know. Okay. And then it stops. Because our force field, or whatever you call it, the strength is 100. So I wonder if I make this 101 and I select all of this and I say copy from active, still breaks apart, and then it kind of stops. Okay, interesting.
Master, we have a visitor.
Welcome to all the new people in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. I'm just having a very, very chilled physics session here, trying to break some things apart. So yeah, fun times. If you guys have any questions, let me know. So I've got this force field and I'm playing with the deactivation of these objects. So currently they are set to 101. So it needs a force of 101 or more to break it apart. And this thing is set to 100. So it shouldn't actually break it apart, but it does. So if we move this force away, so it's not touching that object, nothing happens. Let's bring the force field down to maybe 95 and then move it so it's just touching. Okay, it's still breaking it apart. Let's bring this down to 10. Still breaking it apart. Interesting. Let's bring it down to 1. Still 0.5. Okay, I don't understand that. Maybe cached. I don't think we... Oh, it might be under this thing. Rigid body world. Cache. Delete all bakes. But I haven't baked anything. Okay, still falls apart. So what are we going to do about it? 0.5, so 0.5 strength, so it's not doing a lot. This doesn't make sense. Why is this thing so strong? 0.1. Okay, let's reset this back. So we're gonna set this back to that, and then I'm gonna copy that to everything. So rigid body, copy from active. So I don't understand. Why is this force field so freaking strong? Power is 0. Location, rotation, effects, yeah. Okay, let's try a wind. Just a normal wind. Move it away. And rotate it this way. Okay, doesn't do anything. Strength 100. Not doing anything. Okay, now maybe if I increase the maximum distance. Yeah. Then it does something. Let's make it 1,000. Yes. It's doing something. Let's make it 5,000. Oh, yes. Okay. 10,000. That looks pretty cool. Whoa. I actually want to do this now with like a big one with lots and lots of small particles. Should we do it? Let me know in the chat. So yeah, if anyone's watching on YouTube, come. I can't see that chat, so come join us here on the Twitch dark side, and then I can see your chat or your questions. All right, so that strength is pretty cool. I like it. Okay, yeah, so I want to do it with kind of a big pillar or something with lots and lots of smaller pieces. So let me just check what we used. So we just increased the friction. Collision margin is 0.00001, so super tiny. And then we use the default deactivation. Okay, let's give it a try. What can go wrong? Okay, so I only want to select those ones. And yeah, we can delete that. So I'm going to start with a nice and simple cube. We're going to move this up by 1. And then I'm going to take this face and I'm going to move it up by 4. Yeah. That's a good size. And then I want to increase this thing. What is the size of this thing? 10, 10, 10. Which doesn't make any difference. So let me just save this quickly. So, okay, what's going on here? So I just want to move this. Okay, so we're doing it from that side. Okie dokie. So first of all, I want to apply this thing's scale. So object apply scale. Okay, and then I want to subdivide this. So just select all these faces and then right click subdivide as many times as you want. That kind of looks fine to me. And then we're going to go to object, quick effects, self fracture. And let's start with 1,000. Okay. Hopefully we're not going to go too overboard, but let's see. So particles, no. Own verts, yeah. So it's basically using its vertices. Recursion, let's just go with 1 first. Let's just be safe and see what happens. Noise definitely increased to all the way to 1. Dun 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 dun. I want to throw it into its own collection called frac. I think we don't have anything in here, do we? Yeah, this thing must come out. This thing. What is that? I have no idea what that is. Okay, goodbye. Alright, so let's go back in here. And
Master, we have a visitor.
welcome, new visitor. Hope you're having a good evening, or a good morning, or a good afternoon. Alright, so I've created some subdivisions. Now we can apply the cell fracture. And we're going to try again. So we've got the collection, we've got the source limit is 1000. Noise is 1, that's all good. What else did we change? Recursion, we're going to try 1 first. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, bam. So you can see it's kind of building it. Okay, it's still busy. There we go, still going. Now it's doing the recursion. Okay, so now if we move our original cube out of the way, we can see we have all these pieces, but I want to go smaller. I want to go smaller. Okay, so we're going to go smaller. So let's just move that back, and then I'm just going to delete this collection. Oh, what did I do now? I want to move this thing out of its own, or out of this collection. I don't know what it's doing in there in the first place. Okay, so I'm just going to move this out. And then scroll all the way up. I can probably use page up and page down, which is a lot faster. There we go. And then I'm just going to right click and go delete hierarchy. Okay, cool. So we're going to go object, quick effects, cell fracture. We're going to do 1000 again. Noise 1, that's all good. Maybe let's increase this to 2500. Let's be brave. Recursion, let's keep it on 1 for now. Random, so that's the likelihood of recursion, 0.25. Yeah, let's make the size random, bigger and smaller pieces, and then we can maybe increase this to 0.5. Okay, sharp edges, that's all good. Fracture. Okay, here we go. I don't know if this is gonna break my Mac, but let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? So if anyone's watching on YouTube, come join us here on Discord. Then I can see your questions, etc. I can't see the YouTube comments or questions. Come over to the dark side. Okay, so this thing's done, I think. Yeah. So now we can take this cube and we can move it out of the way. There we go. So I can see we have some smaller pieces. I think this will work fine. So let's just go with that. I'm going to save it and I'm just going to have a sip of water. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Okie dokie. Okay, here we go. So I can probably... No, I'm going to leave that original cube. So now we want to make these objects all rigid bodies. So let's do this little round one in the middle. And I'm going to enable a rigid body. And I'm going to leave it on 1 kilogram. Convex hull, very important. Friction, I'm going to set to 1. Collision margin, I'm going to enable that. And I'm going to set this to 0.00001. So I think it's 4 zeros. That's quite a lot. 0001. Yeah, 0.0001. I think that should be fine. And then we're going to set deactivation, and we're going to leave the default settings and say start deactivated. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to select everything else like so, but not the floor. Shit. Okay, first of all, I'm going to set the floor to non-selectable, and I'm going to set this thing. It's always in the way. Let me just move it. There we go. So that's the one we changed. So select that one first, and then you shift select everything else, and then you go to object, rigid body, copy from active. And it's going to think for a bit. And something happened. Hey there, Harbonaut. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but thanks a lot for the follow. Appreciate it. So now we've got all these pieces, and I've applied that rigid body to all of them, all that rigid body settings. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go play. 3, 2, 1, go. Nothing happens. And that's because we have that deactivation turned on. So what I want to do, I'm going to move this thing closer again. Yeah, there we go. Something's happening, so I'm going to kind of move this away a little further. Nothing happens. Okay. So it kind of needs to just touch that first one. Let's look at this from the side. Okay. GX. Nope. GX. Just like that. There we go. Okay, so it's kind of just falling apart. It's not really... It's looking cool though. Interesting how the force of the wind is actually keeping these ones like that. Okay, let's move it in and move it up maybe a bit. Oh yeah. Let's increase the strength of this thing. So it's currently set to 10,000. Sure. Let's make it 50,000. Oh yes. That's pretty cool. So now I want to go even further. I want to create like double or triple or maybe 5 times the amount of little things. Yeah, maybe we should do that. Should we do that? Looks pretty cool, I think. And these are kind of default settings. Didn't tweak anything really. Let's look at how many faces we have. We have only 5,900 faces. So I think we need to try like at least 20,000 or I don't know, something a bit bigger than this. Let's delete this. Goodbye. And let's bring this thing back. So I am going to just go to this thing. Just put this on 0. There we go. Okay, so I think let's subdivide it once more. Like so. And yeah, the music's actually quite fitting. It feels like a science experiment that might go horribly wrong. Okay, cell fracture, here we go. So currently this is set to 2500. So I'm going to set this to, what should we try? 5,000, 6,000, 8,000. Let's try 6,000. Let's just see how that looks like. If it looks like we can go higher, we can undo that and go higher. Recursion, I'm going to leave it 1, but I'm going to up the randomness to... what is the source limit? 8. That's the number of input points. 0 is unlimited. That sounds dangerous. Why is this 5,000 now? Let's set it to 6,000. 5,000, is that the limit? Okay, so that's the limit, 5,000. But then we can obviously go into this recursion and we can increase this quite a bit. But I think let's try 1 first and see how that looks like. 0 margin, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. This might take a while.
Master, Master, we have a visitor.
I can play some GIFs or some stickers while we wait. Fireworks. And what else? Stress cat. Yes, stress cats may be fitting for this experiment. Still loading. So anyone over on YouTube brave enough to join us here on Twitch? I don't see the chat for YouTube, so if you want to ask questions, come over to Twitch. Still loading. I think it's busy with a recursion or whatever you call it. And it's stuck. There we go. Something's happening. Okay, that looks good. Let's move this away. And did we now delete our wind? No. We did. Okay, that's fine. We can easily recreate it. So I'm just going to do this. I must actually leave one of these things so I can just reapply it. Stupid, but okay, I'm going to do it for the next one. We're going to do another one. We're going to increase this and we're going to see how far we can go until I crash my Mac. Yeah, maybe that's a good experiment. Okay, so let's start with this one again. It doesn't look, does it look a lot more than the previous one? I don't know. Rigid body, convex hull is correct. 1. Collision margin 0.0001. And deactivation and default start deactivated. Alrighty then. And then we're going to select everything. We're going to go and copy from active under rigid body to apply that to all the little pieces. And now we have 20,000 faces. Okay, so it is a bit more. Hope you guys are enjoying the stress cat. It's still loading. Oh, okay. Something happened. Okay, cool. So now let's create our force again. Force. And it's the wind. And we're going to move it to the side and then rotate it on the Y, 90 degrees, sorry. Move that up. And we're going to set the strength to, what is it, 10,000. Oh, that might be a little bit strong. Hey there. I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Jizu192. Welcome. How you doing? I'm just playing around with some physics in Blender and breaking things and see if I can crash my Mac. So far, so good. Okay, so that's 1,000. So that's kind of cool. But I want to, yeah, let's create. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to create a normal force. I don't know if it's any different than using it this way and then you change this to wind. No, it's the same. It's the same. So I'm going to change it back to force and I'm going to move it closer. And let's see. So if it's okay. If it's on 1, it kind of just falls. You should calculate mass of all pieces. Yeah, let's try that. I actually forgot about that. I've done that before. So I think you literally just select all of them and then go to rigid body. I shouldn't select this stupid thing. Go away. Rigid body. Why is this now grayed out suddenly? If I do select 1. Yeah. So let me just right click, select objects. Oops. Let's try that again. Select objects, object, rigid body. Here we go. Calculate mass and let's go with concrete. Okay, that's probably going to take a little while. Maybe not. Okay, yeah, so they're all updated. 149, 330, 17, 21.5. Nice. So we have 20,000 faces and that's pretty cool. Is our deactivation still running? Yeah. So this thing, if we set the strength to 0, it shouldn't really activate it. Okay. That's good. So let's set the strength to like 500. So little pieces flying off. That's quite cool. That's pretty cool. Let's set it to 5,000. Okay, I think we need to move closer. Closer and what is the power? Fall of power. How quickly strength falls off with distance from the force field.
Master, we have a visitor.
Welcome, visitor. I hope you're having a amazing time. So, it's kind of working, but I want to. This thing must be stronger, probably. Let's try 10,000. 10,000, bam. Yeah, what if we move this thing inside? Yeah, well, it's probably realistic because not all the pieces are just going to fly off because they're obviously quite heavy. So we'll have to increase this strength if we want to see anything going crazy, like maybe add another 0 there. 100,000. Yeah. Yeah, then we're going to get shit flying around. So next after this, I want to try one more with like more pieces. So we're currently on 20,000 faces. Now I'm running this on a normal Mac Mini. Yeah. So this is just a little Mac Mini. And it's not too hot. It's not the M1 Mac Mini. I actually want to buy the M1 very, very soon. This is the normal Intel one. So it's quite warm. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It's a little Intel machine. And I'm streaming on it. And I'm playing music on it. So yeah. Surprisingly it can actually do this in play it back in real time because it cached it. Okay, cool. That looks pretty cool. Let's put the camera somewhere here. That's cool, eh? I think we can actually do a tornado. Should we do a tornado? So, okay. So let's delete this, or let's change this force. You can see there's actually a... Where is it? Vortex. Yeah. Here we go. Let's put the vortex right in the middle. Strength. Okay, let's start with something smaller. Let's start with 5,000. Let's see what we get. Is it doing anything? Okay, it's kind of going in a curve. Yeah, you can see it's starting to happen. All right, we want more. So 5,000. Let's do 10,000. I just want to see if it's gonna increase the strength of the curve or what it's doing, or is it just spinning it faster? They kind of going in a circle, but then they just fall because of gravity. Okay, so flow, strength, shape, point, plane. Yeah, that's fine. Noise amount, nothing. Power. See, now this doesn't make much sense to me. Let's add another 0 and see what happens. Okay. Jeez, it's actually quite fast. This is a Mac Mini and it's like calculating. Blender is just amazing. Like all those things have a rigid body applied to them and they interacting with each other, and 20,000. Yeah, it's not crazy. Hey, Mr. Niku, hope you're doing well, man. Loop cut. I'm gonna loop cut all of these pieces. Yeah, just watch me. So we are playing with physics tonight, and yeah, it's pretty cool actually. So now I want to see if I can change this thing to be kind of a smaller circle. I don't know if you can do that. So absorption, what does that do? No, that doesn't work. I'm gonna untick that. Rotation, location, flow. What is a flow? Convert effective force into airflow velocity. I have no idea. Let's put it on 10. Ja, nee, dit is nogal. Okay, so there we go. That's also not working at all. Okay, so the flow, I don't know what it's doing. Point, that should be fine. Like maybe let's put it like inside this thing. Okay. I don't know if that's what I was thinking. Maybe this thing is maybe upside down. Let's try and flip it 180. No. Flip it. Where is it now? Okay. So that doesn't really work. Oh, I think I have an idea. We can change this to magnetic. Magnetic. Why are you not doing anything? Blah, 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 blah. Power sphere, both Z direction. Yeah, it's fine. Should this now be how close to this thing? Maybe that strength is too crazy. Maybe 10,000. No. La 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 la. Let me know if you guys want a different sticker there. Okay, I think we need something like a wind or just a normal force as well to kind of just break it apart. So I'm gonna put this thing here. Okay, something is happening, but it's going completely crazy. I think this is too high or something. I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna delete that, and I'm just gonna create a brand new magnet or whatever you call that. Yeah, that one is a bit getting in the way. I was thinking the same thing now. Stickers, so there we go. We can do once off fireworks and that's it. Alright, what happened now? I didn't see. No, okay, so it just falls apart. Nothing happens. So this thing, it increases to 100. Okay, small pieces are doing weird stuff. Kind of flying around. And it's... Okay, so it's interacting with this force maybe. What is it doing? Okay, let's have a look at it real time. It might be this thing that's just freaking out. Seed absorption, da 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 da. Let's delete it and let's see what happens without it. Okay, so that just falls. So I think we need harmonic vortex turbulence. So I was thinking the vortex was cool, but it doesn't really, or I don't really understand how to use it, to be honest. Let's try it again. Okay, now it's not doing anything. Alright, let's set the strength to a little bit more. 26. Okay, you see, that works better. I think our number, or the number we had, was just way too high. So you can see that it's kind of interacting a bit better. So strength maybe 70. Okay, maybe 150. So we had like 100,000. I think that might have been the problem. Yeah, so that's working. So I think let's delete this force now, move this thing up a bit and see what happens. Yeah, that's looking cool. But it needs to be a bit stronger. Maybe like 500. I want to see if it can actually pick up the pieces. Yo, they're like clumping together. Interesting. And those ones are just being thrown into the air. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's have a look at this in real time. Oh yes. Let's do like 100 frame loop, should be fine. That's very cool. Okay, so next we're going to increase the number of these things. So what I want to do is I want to just grab one of these pieces and then just kind of move it out and then delete all the rest. And then I want to duplicate this thing. Oh, we can probably just move it in like so. I'm going to subdivide it once more. And we're going to go to quick effects, cell fracture. We can't increase it any more than 5,000, but now this is going to be interesting, but let's see what happens. I'm going to set the recursion to 2. Maybe I should bring, yo, that's a lot. I'm going to leave it on 50%. Random, small and big. Yeah. Yep. Here we go. This might take a while to break up, but mass mode, volume. Okay, let's just 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This might take a minute or 5.
Master, Master, we have a visitor.
Welcome, visitor. Hope you are doing well. So we're just playing with physics tonight. Welcome. I'm your physics teacher. So if anyone's watching on YouTube, come over to Twitch and then you can ask questions and join the chat. There's an add-on called Noise Cutter that creates jagged edges and you can convert that piece into reachable. Oh, nice. I will definitely check it out. Thank you, man. Noise Cutter. Okay, it's still busy. Still busy. Okay, cool. Do you know if it's a free add-on? And it's still busy. I think it might take a little while. This little Mac Mini is getting warm. Let's see the temperatures. 86 degrees Celsius. Okay, so I'm just going to boost the fan to full blast. Just reached 90 degrees Celsius. And we're dropping 85. Yeah, it's getting hectic. 83, it's coming down. 85, 82, 83, 82. Yeah, that's good. Wait until I get the M1. Then that thing doesn't even need a fan. Yeah, I must check them out. They insane. Funny thing is, I've got a gaming PC right here with a 2080 Super in, but I don't really use it. I don't know. I stream on my Mac Mini because I kind of use that every day. Okay, what's happening here? I think something is... No, it's not happening yet. Yeah, the M1X. When is the event? Oh shit, is it not like... It's like one of these days. Is it the 23rd? Or the 22nd? Tomorrow. 20th. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Yeah, because I don't think they'll release any new Mac Minis, because I was kind of just waiting for the event to see what's going to happen. But I'm sure they're probably going to release the new iMacs. If they double those cores, or maybe even quadruple them, it's going to be insane. They can literally go to like 128 cores if they want to, with like 64 cores GPU built into the same chip that runs super cold. But yeah, we'll wait and see. What's happening, Blender? 16 cores, yeah. They'll probably take it up slowly. iMac boat anchor. Oh, the steel one, the aluminium one, the big one. I think. Yeah, like a desktop thing. Yeah, those ones were quite cool, because you could like customize them. You can kind of put in some graphics cards and stuff like that. The good old days. Is Blender still waiting? I can't even see the screen because I went out, and now, but I can see it's kind of doing something, and I can see on the stream. I think you guys can see what's happening. Yeah, it's kind of closing those little holes. I have an iMac from 2013 with 8 gigs of RAM. My Blender suffers a lot, poor thing. Yeah, I had one of those. Good night, Saniska. Thanks for joining. See you next time. I had an iMac, also 2013. And the best thing I did to that machine was to install a SSD. I'm not sure if you upgraded the SSD. It's a bit of a mission to open it up. If you can, maybe take it to someone. But it's also not impossible. You can do it yourself if you're really brave. And then just buy a SSD and put it in there, and it's going to make that thing pretty fast. Like I used mine, I don't know, like for a few years after that when I installed the SSD. So yeah, if you don't have a SSD in there, put a SSD in there. Because I think they came with normal old hard drives. Yeah, true. But if you want, like in the meantime, you can literally go on to... Hold on a second. I actually bought one the other day. And I'm back, sorry. So on Amazon you can find this Kingston Kingston 240 gig. That's probably not going to be visible on the camera at all. Let's go into chat while Blender is... Yeah, Blender is still waiting, so that doesn't really help. Anyway, so this is the drive. Let me just wait for the update. Come on. So and it's like super cheap. I think it was like, I don't know, just search A400 on Amazon, and then you just install that in the meantime. Take a lot of selling 240 gig for $6.99. Wow, that is super cheap. That's like how many dollars? Like $50 $50. Yeah, I think this one was actually, I think, quite a bit cheaper. I was like surprised. I think it was like $31. And it was the fastest one. I like checked 3 different brands, and this one spec was the fastest. I don't know. So yeah, that's just something you can do. I'm gonna have a Rolo. Maybe another one while we wait. Blender is still going. Yeah, opening the Mac. Sorry, I'm chewing.
Master.
We have some new
Master,
visitors.
we
Welcome,
have a
welcome.
visitor.
Sorry, we're just waiting for Blender to respond because I did a cell fracture of like, I don't know, went a bit overboard, so we're just having a little chat. Yeah, so opening the iMac, that is a bit of a problem. Oh, cool. I'm from South Africa. Welcome. So, yeah, it's not impossible. The difficult part is removing the glass. So you get those little suction things that you basically put on the glass and then you remove it. But you first have to kind of get it's a small little plastic thing. Chocolates and cigarettes, you are the picture of health. Exactly. Welcome to the health show. And at least I'm drinking normal water and not a bottle of Coke. So, health tip. Be healthy, people. Anyways. So you get that little plastic clip. It almost looks like a guitar pick. I'm sure you can actually use a guitar pick. And you just stick it in behind the glass and just go around. And yeah, then you just remove the glass very, very carefully. But there's a video on YouTube that explains all the steps, like step by step and very professionally. Like just search that. But if you're too scared, then take it in. But obviously they're going to charge you quite a bit. And it's really not that difficult if you are careful. If you have the right tools and if you're careful, it's worth doing it. We have movement in Blender. Oh crap. Okay, it's moving. Here we go, people. Let's see what we have. Removed glass. I removed my glass with a toilet plunger. It's just magnets. I'm sure that will work as well. Any way that you can just safely remove that glass and put it on a freaking thing where it's not going to break or scratch. The iFix guys did a video but then reinstalling the screen. Yeah, in the other video they also say you don't have to like re-glue it. You kind of just push it back in. I don't know, there's obviously some kind of glue that you loosen. But I think once you you just push it in. But yeah, it's one of those things. I replaced what did I replace in here? The RAM in my Mac Mini. Yeah, the day that I got it, I ordered it. And then I replaced the RAM immediately. And that was quite a mission. To open that small freaking box. And to, take it apart. It was quite a amazing experience. Okay, so now we need to apply all these rigid body settings to this. So let's save this. We have how many faces? 64,000 faces. And I'm gonna... Why are we in edit mode? Okay, so I need to take this main cube and just move it out. Maybe place it there. That's looking pretty nice. And then we're gonna select this one. This is the original. Select all of these. And then we're gonna go Object, a rigid body. Oh shit. What did I just do? Rigid body copy from active. And that's gonna take a little minute or two. So it's just applying all those to all the different little pieces. And we wait.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
And we're still waiting.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
So the best way to self-fracture something and keep the shape. Sometimes it creates artifacts, or even it ends up with missing parts. To be honest, I haven't had the missing parts, but I'm sure, yeah, it can create artifacts. I don't know. I honestly haven't played around with self-fracture too much. I know you can use the, I think it's either the annotation or the grease pencil, and you can kind of draw on your geometry where you kind of want to break it. If you want to break it in a very specific way. Is this thing still busy? So you can do that. Yeah, it's still busy. Sure. Or you can, let me just think. You can obviously play with the randomness, not the randomness, the noise. So maybe bring down the noise slightly so it's not too just strange. And always remember to apply your scale to the object before you fracture. Because I'm sure if you take a cube and you stretch that cube out and you just go in and apply it, you might get some really, really strange things. Okay, so you created a stadium and it created a bad mess. How big did you actually go scale, or like close to scale? Because that's going to create so many pieces. Then it will also probably be best to break it up into smaller sections. So don't have one massive one object. So have like, I don't know, the chairs or the benches as different objects, and like different pieces of the roof maybe have that in different pieces as well. And then do, I don't know, because that sounds like quite a big thing that you're trying to do. And then you can also use particles. So I've seen a lot of people what they do. But I created a stadium and it created a really bad mess. Yeah. So I've seen what a lot of people do is they create their cell fractures, but they don't go too small. And then for the really tiny particles, they actually use a particle system. And then you can have those particles come out at different events. And there's a video, there's a guy on YouTube now. I forgot his name. I don't know if it was, I watched a video a while back where he shows how to like destroy buildings and stuff in Blender with a really interesting way. He uses like keyframes to kind of activate different parts of the building. So he kind of fakes it, but it looks really nice. So he'll take in his model and he'll use the knife tool. I think he uses the knife tool, and he cuts it up, and then he just like goes into edit mode and just selects like random pieces of that object and separate it out as a separate object, and then go back in and kind of just paint like different faces and then separate them out. And then he breaks it up into little pieces like that, and he applies a rigid body to those different pieces, and then he activates it like at different frames. Like let's say there's a meteor coming, and then like as the meteor comes into the building, you'll activate the first part, and then 2 frames later you'll activate that part and the bottom part or whatever. Yeah, just search, go into YouTube and search like building destruction tutorial or something. It was quite a good, it was a good tutorial, like a good quality tutorial, which was really nice. This thing is actually finished, so you guys can see the screen, so that's all good. And now we need to see what happens. So let me just make sure that we have our rigid bodies. We have our rigid bodies enabled. So we're going to go with the Vortex first. Maybe we should not do that. Maybe we should go with something else first. So I'm going to set the strength to 0. We can probably delete this little guy. And let's just do a playback and see what happens. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so nothing happens because we've got that thing that stops it from, what do you call it, the deactivation. Start deactivated. All right, so let's just let's just add a wind or something to see if it works. So very simple wind. Okay, maybe we should go up to like 1,000. There we go. It's just a bit slow, but it's doing something. Okay, so these are now still all the same. I'm actually too scared to... No, it's not caching. I'm actually too scared to set the... Oh, it did actually... Oh no, they're all set to 49.2 kilograms each. I'm a little scared to set the weight, but let's do it anyways. So I'm going to select all of them. Object, rigid body, calculate... Oh shit. What did I do now? Calculate mass. And then we're going to do concrete. Okay, that was pretty easy to do. That's done. So let's save that. And let's increase the strength of this wind to like 5,000. Okay. It's happening. I just really hope that it's caching right now. So if anyone's watching on YouTube, click on the link below and come over to Twitch. I'm not monitoring the chat there, so if you have any questions, you can come and ask me the side. Okay, so let's see if it cached anything. Yes, it did. That looks pretty good. Let's have a look again. No. Yeah. But now I want to enable this thing again. So let's what's going on here? Is this thing enabled? No, it's set to 0. So let's set this thing to, what is it, 500? Yeah, we shouldn't go too high. And maybe let's set this one back to 0. So we're only using the Vortex. Let's do a save. And there we go. Something's happening. I've seen some really cool stuff with smoke and particles, and then using these forces, like creating like really realistic, what do you call them? Tornadoes. Is there any way to affect things differently, because small pieces blow out really fast and the others kind of just fall? Okay, so obviously you know about the weight, to set the individual weights. Do you know how to use rigid body constraints? Now, I am not sure how to use it. I've used it once, but that tutorial, that one that I was talking about the guy destroying the buildings, he actually goes into that quite a bit, where he talks about the rigid body constraint. So I can select. The only problem is that I can't figure out is how to copy the rigid body constraints to all the other objects. So I'm not sure if you know, but anyway. So what you do is you need to enable a rigid body constraint on all of them, but that's what I need to figure out. And then you go down, and then rigid body constraint. Yeah, you can set this to all these different constraints. So usually fixed is just like gluing them together. And then you can set this to, by default it disables collisions. So you can disable or untick that. And then you can set this to breakable, and then you can set the threshold. So it means that it will kind of stick together if all of them around that one has got this enabled as well. Yeah, and then they will kind of break apart if you cross this threshold. I don't know if that will help you, but it's quite cool. Like you can have like a wind, and you can have a building with like different pieces, or the threshold is different at certain sections of the building. And then as you increase the strength of the wind, like certain pieces will kind of fly off first and kind of break out. And then that will affect the things around it. And then as you increase the wind strength, the other pieces will start to like break off and fly out. So you can do some really, really cool stuff with the rigid body constraint. Only thing is I can't remember how to apply it to all of them, because you can't just do this and then apply it. For some reason it doesn't work. Yeah, it does. That's what I want to actually try, this rigid body constraint, but I googled a little bit earlier, but I couldn't really figure it out. Because if you do that, you can then set all of them with the same kind of glue strength, so it won't just blow out all the little pieces. It's going to try and kind of struggle a little bit more. And then we can increase the wind strength, so it kind of affects the bigger pieces first. I don't know. But let's try if we go to like 50,000. And maybe we should add some noise. Wow, 10. Okay, that's like maximum noise. Let's do 5. Yeah, okay, so that's super strong. But that might actually look better. Because yeah, the wind wasn't strong enough to blow any of the big pieces, so it was just kind of shooting all these small pieces out. Let's have a look. This might actually look better. Okay, here we go. Yeah, see, that looks nice. That's kind of more... If you have like a tornado or something coming close to a building, that's obviously a little bit... This is more like a house-sized pillar. So obviously if it's like a bigger building, then you need to slow everything down quite a bit. So do you know how to do that? So if you go to your... What is this thing called? Your scene properties, and you go to your rigid body world. Here you can set the speed. So we can go like half, 0.5. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Those old with the with the dolls like sitting inside the kitchen, and then this everything just goes. Thank you, Bionic Crusader. Yeah, it's looking nice now. You can do some really nice physics stuff with Blender. I don't think a lot of people actually... Oh, I'm sure a lot of people know that, but... Nothing close to Houdini, but sometimes you don't need that. Like, sometimes you just do... Even like a lot of the bigger movies, they break this stuff into smaller little pieces, and they work on smaller sections of the shot. And they don't work on like one... Or usually they don't work on like one big simulation, because that's just going to be too difficult to even just manage. So they break it up, and then I'm sure you can use Blender to do most things you see in movies. So what else can we add? I want to add some particles now as well, but I'll probably make my Mac just explode. Oh, it's nice and cool now. Of course, the fan is on freaking full blast. What is the temperatures? Yeah, it's running 63 degrees, 4,400 RPMs. So it's I bought a draw on screen Cintiq like device. Blender hates it. Oh no, why? So you can actually see the screen on the device, but it doesn't really like it. I know I had to change my input settings for using this tablet, but I don't know if that will change anything. Oh, it doesn't see the driver. That's weird. Yeah, because I just had to enable... I can't even remember what I had to enable. Yeah, I think I didn't even change any settings. Okay, so... Oh, why did this thing not... Cache now. So, okay, so I changed the speed to 0.5, because I think you need to do that XP Pen Pro 22-inch. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, it might be using that Windows Ink thing. Yeah, I also know about that thing. I think you need to uninstall, or not uninstall it, just like disable it. And then obviously need then the drive or the software for the XP Pen Pro. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see there the speed is now half, and now you kind of get, it looks bigger. So let's go even smaller. Let's go to 0.1. And let's simulate some frames. So obviously the more sub steps and the more solver iterations you have, the better the quality of your simulation. So maybe that's also something you can try. Jizuan, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing everyone's name. So you can maybe try that and see, because if you're doing like a big stadium, bring that speed down all the way, because you want it to like break apart really, really slowly. Let's see, I'm just going to do like... Oh, well, let's see how far it goes. So yeah, just your speed and maybe also your gravity. Because sometimes gravity just looks really weird. Yeah, it's the easiest way to fake scale. And then gravity as well. Set your gravity... Or yeah, make your gravity a little bit less, so things are kind of falling slower. But yeah, as you can see, let's have a look. So we have 80 frames. Yeah, so that's super slow now. That's like 0.1. But it looks nice. But I think for like a building, this should be kind of 0.5. I think 0.5. If it's like a really, really strong wind, because the pieces are just like flying out. So it should probably be more like a like a fall. Yeah, maybe let's try and drop something on it and see what happens. So I'm going to disable this thing. Disable the wind. 50,000. Jeez. And this thing is set to 0 as well. Okay, cool. So let's just create a big old sphere. And move it up. And I want to just kind of place it on this, on the one side. So maybe on this side. And then move it up. And I'm just going to give it a rigid body, and I'm going to make it like 1,000 kilograms. Let's see what happens. Friction 1. Here we go. Save. 3, 2, 1. So the speed is still on 0. Why is it happening? Because it should wait for activation. This is not right. Sorry, let me just stop that quickly. Just delete these forces. Let's just have a quick look at these. Yeah, so they started as deactivated. So let me just make sure they all set to the same thing. Okay. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that thing is not heavy enough. That thing is not heavy enough. We need to make this thing crazy heavy. So 1,000, let's make it like 100,000 kilograms. Here we go. Yeah, that feels a bit better. It's kind of moving a little bit out of the way. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So you see, now the constraints would have worked really nice, because now everything just kind of falls. But if you had those constraints in place now, they would kind of start breaking from the top and not just all just break at the same time. So I really need to figure out how to copy those constraints, because then you can get some really, really cool effects. So you can have like something fly through this building, and it will kind of only break out the pieces that it kind of forced in the middle, and then the rest will kind of stay in place. Depends on the threshold. But yeah, you can do some cool stuff like that. Let's place this right in the center. Whoops. Like so. And now we'll probably have to just move this. Oops, plane. Move this over. Okay. Buffer. Oh, is it buffering? Probably just dropped for a second. Hopefully I'm back. Okay, so now it's just kind of smashing these things into a million pieces. What's the time now? 12:15. No. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think everything's looking fine this side, but it might have been a little drop. I sometimes get it. It all depends. Yeah, it's still early. I don't go to sleep before usually about like 3, 4. It's kind of my time. Okay, so we have that. I just need to try and figure out that freaking constraint thing. Should we Google it? Okay, I hope I am on the right screen now. So, Blender. See, rigid body constraint. Apply to multiple objects. That's exactly what I want to do. So here's a Reddit post from 10 April 2020. And let's see. So, answer, not sure. But not sure if it's quite what you're after, but copy attributes add-on can copy object constraints. Seth, so you need a freaking add-on to do that. I think it's in the objects menu, rigid body connect. I think you are right. Let's try that quick. So first, obviously, I need to set one. So let's do this little corner one. And then I'm going to enable it like so. And we set this to, let's just leave it default for now. So now let me just set this floor back to non-selectable. So that's the one we had. And yeah, we can see the rigid body constraint. There we go. So now if we select everything and you say objects menu rigid body connect. Object rigid body connect. But what does that mean? Connect. I think you're right. This is probably going to load for a bit. But I think you are right. It's just a weird thing to name it connect. Why just not use the copy from active? Doesn't make sense to my brain. Let me just have some healthy water before I have my cigarette. I think I also watched that same video probably. Because when you said connect, it kind of, a bell went off. Usually it's kind of instant, but we're doing a few. So it's not too many, it's like a 1,700 objects, but it's 64,000 faces. So, yeah. That one of destroying a nuclear reactor. I saw that thumbnail, but I'm not sure if I don't think I watched that one. I think the one I watched had like a... No, it was I watched the building one I was talking about earlier. So the guy with the big buildings that you kind of break it into little pieces. But that was quite cool. And also what he did was he changed it to triangles. So he converted all the quads to tries. And then it creates these little like shards almost. Yeah. This is taking forever. And I think every time you change a setting on this, we can go back to chat. It's probably a little bit more interesting than watching Safari. Yeah, so the problem is every time you change something on that rigid body constraint, you'll have to now do this whole process again. This connect thing. So I think that's the one thing with Blender. It still needs a lot of optimization when it comes to things like this. I know this is a Mac Mini. If you do this on a PC, it will probably be better, but still, it still takes some time. And I don't know if it's optimized to the max. Maybe you should have tried less pieces. I think so. I think you are 100% correct. If this works, then I'll create a new object and break it into like 500 pieces. Maybe even less. Yeah, I think we're going to do that anyways. Let's just wait for this to freaking load. And then we can try that quickly and see if it works. Because that might work really well for your stadium. I think. Yeah, this is taking some time. Let's see what else we have. We have this one is actually the perfect loading screen for that freaking thing. Yeah, there we go. Is that inside the screen? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they still need to optimize it quite a bit. Let's do think. Most boring stream ever. Looking at Blender loading. So yeah, what other projects are you guys busy with? If there's anyone busy with any cool stuff, and yeah, feel free to also join the Discord and share your renders and your projects and stuff in there. We're trying to build a little community and just to try and help each other out, learn Blender, and get better. Yeah, this thing. Red thing on my desk. So this is the Akai Mini, is this one. I don't think it's in frame. So this is the Akai Mini. The red thing you're talking about, right inside of my screen. This thing. So this is the Scarlett 212 or something. Focusrite Scarlett, yeah, 2i2. There we go. Thank you. And yeah, it's sitting on top of the Mac Mini. So there's the Mac Mini. That's my sound card. This is a Yamaha mixer that I don't really use. I'm basically I haven't freaking installed this yet. So I bought this little mixer that's going to replace this big mixer, because this is just taking up way too much room and cables are everywhere. So I bought this little baby, and it's a nice 8-channel mixer, 8-channel mono or 4 stereo, and yeah, I don't need anything. I don't use this thing. And then the video splitter box streamer thing. So this is just a USB splitter, yeah, USB splitter thing. And then I use this little cheapy HDMI video capture thing. It's like the $20, $15 one. So I know you get the Elgato, the proper one. But yeah, this one you can only do, I think, 30 frames a second. So this is 30 frames a second. But it's fine. Like I don't mind. My screen is still 60, so this is just the camera, it's not 60. But yeah, this one is for my little camera there that I don't use when streaming. It's like when I do work calls and stuff, then I don't do this angle. What else? This is my little NAS. But I want to upgrade it now because this is just like a 2-bay NAS. That's my little Ender 3D printer that I haven't used in months. Yeah, just haven't had time. And that's my one speaker, KRK Rocket 6. Hey there, what's happening? What is going on? What did you see? What did you realize? Select all the fractured objects and then shift select on one of them and then you do the connect thing. So select all of them and then shift select on one of them. So did I do it wrong? Oh no. Okay, I need to wait for this to finish. I can't. Either that or we need to like crash. Maybe I just need to close like end task Blender. And then we start again. Should we do that? Yeah, let's do it. So let's crash Blender quickly. How can we do it? Force quit. There we go. That was pretty easy. Okay, Blender. Here we go. So I think I just need to set up this new Blender now in OBS because sometimes OBS is weird when you're doing things like, but it's working. Okay, stickers, goodbye, thank you. And we can go back into Blender. All right, let's do this. So we create a freaking floor. And then I think for this we need to change the music up a bit. Let's go a little bit of rock. Okay, so here we go. Kill PID. What does that mean? Bionic Crusader? I have no idea. So are we going to start small, like cube small? Yeah, let's start small. So first of all, we're going to subdivide just twice, just like that. And we don't have to apply scale because it's all good. And we're going to go to quick effects, cell fracture. 100's fine, noise up, recursion 0, collection cells, task kill. Oh, yeah, no, we're done. We crashed it. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's it. We are starting small. So we're going to take our cube, move it out of the way, and we have a freaking cube. So first of all, let's add our rigid body stuffs. Rigid body, convex hulls, right. Friction 1. Dynamics, deactivation, star deactivated. Okay, cool. So we're going to set this thing to be not selectable. Which one did we change now? This one. So here we go, and we are going to go to object, rigid body, copy from active, and now we have nothing. Oh yeah, they won't because they obviously not activated. Sorry, my brain is getting tired or something. So that's all good. So now we need to do that rigid body constraint like so. Let's just have a look at it quickly. So we're going to leave all the settings default for now. All right, so now I'm going to follow your instructions. Select all the fractured objects and then shift select on one of them and then you do the connecting. Okay, so you first select all and then shift click on that one and then rigid body connect. There we go. I think it worked. So now you can see we've got these weird looking things. And if I play, nothing will happen. So now let's create a sphere. And we move it up. And let's just kind of move it over the one edge, or the corner actually. So let's just do this. Okay, this thing, please go away, hide. So let's just increase let's add a rigid body and make it like 100 kilograms. All right, are you ready? Let's see if this is gonna work. Okay, so we didn't do the floor. So let's just try that again. Floor. Where's the floor? Plane. Just a rigid body and passive. And I don't want to select you. And we can... Oh crap, all these constraints. Okay, let's try again. Alright, so there you can see nothing really... It kind of... Yeah, you can actually see it working. So if you look at these things... 3, 2, 1. You can see they're kind of trying to break apart, but they can't. You see? Because kind of the glue is too strong. So now we can go in here and we can say, okay, where is the rigid body constraint? And we can make it breakable. Now you have to make all the constraints breakable. Exactly. So let's leave it on 10 for now, default. And I'm going to leave this disable collisions ticked for now. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah. So anyway, so we're going to select all of them and make sure that one is selected with shift. Like if you click on it, like it highlights it, and then you know it's good. So we're going to connect again. I think we need to connect, eh? Yeah. So did it update these things? No, did I break it? Okay, wait. I'm gonna undo that. Undo. Okay, wait. Okay. They're already connected. Okay, cool. So now I don't have to... Do I only change one of them? But that's not gonna... Okay, are they all connected to this one? Yeah, you see there. So they're all connected to this one. Oh, okay. So these are the constraints. Wow. Okay, I need to put them into their own little thing. So new collection, and we call these constraints. Okay, cool. That's better. So I assume I can now select one of these, make it breakable, and then select all the others. Can I do select by type? And then click on one, and with click command, and then it will affect all of them. Click command. So just... Oh, wait. I lost that one. Which one was it? No, that one. Okay. So what I can do is I can right click here and say select object, and then there we go. And then we probably do... How do you update these now? Apply transformations? No. Any ideas? And then click on one of them, and with command, click command. I'm not sure what you mean. Command. So like command on my keyboard, like command. Sorry, I'm not sure. What you mean? Yeah, so command and then click on one of them. Nothing happens. Ugh. And then click make breakable. I am not sure what you mean. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to select these again. And then I'm going to shift select this one. And it will apply the effect to all the constraints. So you say I need to click command and then it will affect all of them. Make breakable. So it's not one of these if I right click, eh? Oh, if I right click. Here we go, copy to selected. I think I can do this. Yeah. So I don't know if that is basically what you meant. Yeah. So I just right clicked on that. Yeah, okay, so I understand what you said. Yeah, you said use command click. I was like, I just use right click. So sorry about the misunderstanding there. So, okay, let's see what happens. So we've set this now to breakable. Almost. So you can kind of see them almost want to break apart. No problem. So I'm going to increase this mass to 1,000. Let's see if that breaks it. Yeah. See how cool that is. So we can hide these stupid things. I just want to say, what do you call them? Motion paths? No. Relationship lines. Extras. Okay, extras. So look at that. Kind of breaks it, and I want to disable the relationship paths as well. So that's pretty cool. Okay, it's like freaking out a bit like that one is just hanging in the air, but it's obviously stuck to something else still. So let's try and change this to, where am I now? Oh, I need to select the constraints. So let's just go with one constraint. And then we set this down to like, I don't know, like 2. And then I can probably, I can't see what I'm doing now. Extras, this one. So we can probably now just go right click, select objects, and then right click on this 2. And then we copy to selected. Yeah. That worked. So let's see. Yeah. So you can see it's breaking apart easier. And the pieces are still stuck. So let's do something here. Let's place this in the center and see what that does. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, let's see if I make the sphere a lot smaller. So if we scale this down to like this size and just apply the scale. Yeah. But if you command click while you insert the value, it will automatically apply to all of them. Oh, sorry man, you're great. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. So command click while you insert the value. Oh, I've never tried that before. So yeah, so as you can see, it will, that's pretty cool. Like it's obviously now kind of stuck to one of them, like all of them are stuck to one. So I'm sure you can go quite advanced here and kind of connect them to each other, because I know there's a setting, I don't know how to use it though, but if you go to your rigid body constraint, where did I see that? Here we go. So you've got your first and your second object. I have no idea what that does. Let's see. So they're kind of changing. So they've got a first and a second. So the first object are all self or fracture number 30. But the others are probably the one I'm selecting. Like if we select that one, yeah. So 2, 3. Yeah, so they're all connecting to cell number 30. So you can obviously go and connect them to the closest one, maybe. I don't know, you'll do that automatically without doing it one by one. That can be quite a nightmare, I suppose. Yeah, but let's try the wind quickly. So I'm going to delete this sphere and I'm going to add a force field. Let's do a wind again. Our favorite. And we're just going to rotate that, whoops, like so, minus 90. And we just move it up and we just increase the strength to like, I don't know, 500. And not a lot is happening. So let me just hide these things again. So you can kind of see it's moving, but yeah, that's all. So 5,000, you can see it's also just flying off into the distance. We need like a wall or something. Yeah, let's create a wall quickly and see. So I just want to set this to a passive rigid body. Yes. Ooh, that's pretty cool. So let's just move this up a bit. That's pretty cool. That stream of rocks. Meow. That's quite cool. Maybe you can create various groups of constraint, but that's really tedious. Yeah, maybe that's a way to do it. Sorry, I'm just having a bit of fun here now. I'm gonna rotate this slightly like so. Now they're all kind of stuck to the wall. So let's increase this to 8,000 and add some noise. That's quite cool. Maybe 20,000. Yeah, you can see that's pretty strong wind. They are completely freaking out. Phew. That's very cool. Splat. You can do some really cool stuff with these physics. Yeah, it does. Like it's like stuck to the wall. It's super cool. Maybe let's rotate the wind so it's kind of, yeah, that's cool. You can create so many different effects just using physics. Like, and the secret to visual effects is using motion blur. Like, you can literally take this and render that out and add a stupid texture to it and add motion blur and add that into a nice shot, and it will look perfectly fine. And you can do that in 10 minutes, maybe even 5. So yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to disable this thing quickly. Set this to 0. And then I just want to take all of these pieces and kind of drop them. That looks quite weird. Like kinda wobbling. Doesn't really want to break. But anyways, guys and girls, it was good. I'm gonna watch some Netflix now. Should I try that quickly? Yeah, we can try that quick. And then after that, I'll go and watch Netflix. So, let's have a look. So, let's see, which one was it? First one. So should I change? I just want to try and do that shortcut you were talking about. Should I change this first? Let me just switch this back on. So should I change the threshold? Whoops. Threshold number first. And then do a command click. Maybe, yeah. No, sorry, I'm a bit stupid now. I'm just gonna go select objects, right click, copy to selected. Okay, cool. So we are all on 1. Let's see what happens. So it's now on 1. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That kind of feels yeah, I see. That feels more natural, eh? It's kind of not just exploding. You can see some of the pieces are kind of sticking together, like here at the bottom. Yeah, it looks good, eh? So look. Yeah. That feels pretty natural. Awesome stuff. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for stopping by. And yeah, I'll probably do more of these types of streams as well. Just kind of doing random things. Maybe next time we can do like particles and just play around with different particles and create some cool particle effects. Yeah, awesome, man. Thanks a lot for watching, and thanks a lot for chatting and helping me out. And I also learned quite a few things tonight, so that's always awesome. Every time I use Blender, I just learn new things, which is so awesome. So yeah, have a amazing day, amazing evening, amazing night, and I'll hope to see you guys next time. Anyways, have a good one, and thanks a lot for watching, guys. Cheers. Goodbye.